I'll go ahead and call the regular meeting to order for October 10th, 2023. If you would, please silence your cell phones and any other electronic devices. And would you please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Commissioner Carl, would you please lead us? Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, the Zeta symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures.
I always go too fast.
So we'll move on to item number 4 is the approval of the agenda. Commissioners, if you've had an opportunity to look over the agenda, we do need to postpone item number 14. And that's the discussion action service agreement between Accurate Control Inc. Security Automation Systems and the Fohill Maldonado Detention Center. Is there any other changes that commissioners see fit? Commissioner Kern?
No changes.
So I'll go ahead and approve the agenda.
Make a motion.
Or I'll make the motion.
No, you need a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as amended. Second.
It's been moved and seconded, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Kern,
Yes.
Commissioner Ware.
Yes.
Chairman Truhill.
Yes. Item number 5 is the approval of the special meeting minutes for October 26, 2023, the public hearing meeting minutes for September 26, 2023, and the regular meeting minutes for September 26, 2023. Is there any concerns or comments, corrections, commissioners? Commissioner Kern?
No.
Commissioner Ware?
No.
Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Kern,
Yes.
Commissioner Ware.
Yes.
Truhill.
Yes. Moving on, we'll move on to item number 6, recognition of visitors. I do want to thank everyone for coming today. We'll go ahead and have Amadeo start off. And Amadeo, would you please announce who's online with us as well? And then we'll just go back and forth. Thank you.
Projects manager. You want to have to talk to the manager's office?
Thank you all very much. Moving on to item number 7 is going to be public comment. If you would, please approach the podium. You'll be limited to 3 minutes. Madam Clerk, would you mind keeping that time? When you do, please come up to the, please speak clearly into the microphone if you would, please.
Just a quick comment. I'd like to thank Glenn and his crew for putting the flood barriers up around our fire station. It continues to flood. I think they have it. Of course, we need a good heavy rain to find out, but it looks excellent. I just wanted to thank them because it was creating lots of building damage.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Todd.
Good morning. My name is Tamara Rosenberg with Resound Networks, and we are an internet service provider. And we received, I'm here to just introduce myself to Colfax County because we received a Rural Opportunity Development Fund grant through the FCC to develop broadband networks throughout New Mexico. And one of our areas is Colfax County. We received $2.8 million. And one of the projects that we will be beginning sometime in the near future. We don't have a specific date to give you yet. Will be Springer, and in Springer, we will be doing it looks like there's enough density that we will be doing fiber. So we wanted to introduce ourselves, get to know the community and understand what the needs are and make sure that we're serving you in the best way possible.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any further public comment? Seeing none, we'll move on to item number 8, discussion, action, approval of expenditures. Commissioners, is there any questions? Commissioner Kern?
I have none.
Commissioner Ward?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I have a couple of questions. I don't know if Jonah wants to approach the podium, but
Ms. Apodaca and Ms. Virginia, can you, or Ms. Virginia?
I noticed there was a check written for $195 and for Farley Fire Fund, and I was just hoping we could get an explanation of what that specifically was for.
Yes, that check was written to Max Drilling, and that's for their fire fill stations that they are working on. It was an RFP. I couldn't tell you the number. It was before I started, but it's for fire fill stations is what they're working on. And we
Okay.
did get recommendation from Molson Corbin to go ahead and pay that bill.
Okay. And my second question is I noticed that the Village of Cimarron received their $40,000 check for the emergency management initiative that we did last year.
Yes, so normally they would ask for the 3,200 upfront and then the remainder in a second portion. However, they're using that funds to pay off an ambulance, so they asked for the full amount all at once.
Okay. And do you know, or you don't have to, if you don't know, you don't have to tell us now, but if you could get back to the commission, I'd appreciate it with a list of the EMS funds that have received the 40,000. Because just want to make sure that that's all been processed.
Okay,
for-
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, but I think Eagle Nest already got theirs, and I'm not sure about anybody else. But I'll double check it and I can send you all an email.
Okay, and I know there was some reporting they were required to do in order to get those funds, but I would like to see them get it. And I hate to have to remind people for us to give them money, but maybe Mr. Manager, if we could send out a reminder to our EMS providers that, you know, as long as they complete their reporting, that that they are eligible for those funds. And in addition to that, Mr. Chairman, it is a reminder that I'd like to address that process again this year. I know the requirements, or I'm not sure the MOU or what the legal name of that document was in order to receive them, had some relatively stringent reporting requirements. And I think we were going to readdress those and look at them this year. We had talked about previously to make sure that they weren't, excessive or anything. So I would like to see that on a future agenda where we address that grant opportunity for our EMS providers. Since the county does not, just as a reminder, since the county does not provide EMS services to our constituents that live in unincorporated areas, we rely on municipalities to provide EMS services to our unincorporated constituents. And the previous commission last year agreed unanimously that the county should be helping in some way help financially the municipal EMS services that provide services to our unincorporated constituents. And that was the whole purpose of this. The long-term goal is hopefully that we would get the state to do that. But for the third year in a row, the program that was sponsored by Senator Campos and New Mexico counties was a priority item for New Mexico counties, died in committee and never even made it to the floor to be voted on. So hopefully we'll keep pursuing that and have the state help compensate EMS services like they do, similar to what they do fire services. But until then, our EMS services are struggling throughout the county. And since they are providing services to unincorporated constituents that don't pay taxes to those municipalities, I think it's only fair that the county continue to help support them financially. And we have the funds to do it through the funds that were set up by
The MCMC.
the MCMC.
No, Rika asked to
Decades
put
ago.
this, Rika asked to be put this on a future agenda.
Okay,
So, yeah, definitely.
that's all my questions. Thank you, Virginia.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Seeing no further questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Second,
Been moved and seconded. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Kern, Commissioner Ware.
yes.
Yes. Moving on to item number 9 is discussion action approval of expenditures pursuant to resolution number 2022-49. Commissioners, is there any questions? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
I'll second. It's been moved and seconded. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Kern. Commissioner Ware.
Yes.
Chairman Truhill.
Yes. Moving on to item number 10 is the presentation from Blaze Diamond, Rebuilding Local Food Sheds Program. Mr. Diamond. Floor is yours.
Thank you so much for having me here today, county commissioners and elected officials. I appreciate it. My name is Blaze Diamond. I live in northern New Mexico in Taos County, in El Prado. I have a small diversified vegetable production farm here, and I work for primarily a nonprofit called Ogallala Commons. And I actually have a visual presentation prepared today. Do you guys have a screen able to do visuals, or would you prefer to hear me talk? It's whatever works best for you guys.
You're fine to go ahead and proceed. We can see.
Okay, great. So I'm with a nonprofit, like I said, Ogallala Commons. I am the Rebuilding Local Food Systems Program Coordinator for our nonprofit. We were organized in 1998, and we primarily work in watersheds that feed into the Ogallala Aquifer. So that's kind of how we define our terrain. We have 3 programmatic arms. I'm in the local food systems, though we also do have a really robust arm that provides paid work experience or internships for rural youth to be able to stay place-based and not participate in the brain drain that is common in our rural plains communities. And we have a stewarding natural resources arm as well that looks at water recharge projects and like it's community education events primarily, where we get to walk like playas and riparian zones that kind of create water futures for the next generations of our plains communities. But I'm going to focus on our local food systems work. So this is a map of kind of our food shed projects. We base it off of watersheds, knowing that food grows where water flows, and that there's a specific bioregionality to an area based on that elevation and that rainfall and the flora and fauna of that area. I primarily work in northeastern New Mexico and southeastern Colorado. And I have a new teammate and colleague that we just brought on board that is actually based in Tucumcari, New Mexico. So we'll focus on the Canadian River here today. We started work in 2001, just a little backdrop in kind of normalizing the farm to institution or farm to school experience through the Regional Food Systems Partnership Grant that kind of came out of the Biden administration. And our project was, how do we look at not just holding summits or gatherings for our ranchers and our farmers to share peer-to-peer food production knowledge and place-based knowledge, but how do we kind of like take on more risk and responsibility for our growers and agricultural producers as a nonprofit and help localize these markets, knowing that institutional markets are kind of the large stable market access that producers need in rural areas. So looking at our hospitals and our schools, And we started kind of a multi-year journey of connecting our growers in that region into their local rural schools. This was the area we focused on. So as you can see, huge stretches of like 73 miles between a town like Trinidad to Kim. So we're talking about how do we create a food hub model or like a food transit model that's based not on being economical, but it's based more on like rural dynamics and rural resiliency, and kind of coalesce some aggregation power within our rural communities to then really create a supply chain logistics that services producers in this area. And there's, so many definitions of rural or of local, but we wanted to hone in on like a regional definition of local, not like a statewide or some broad USDA definition of a 400-mile radius. Kind of the example I always use is, local for me living in northern New Mexico means I can drive up to Cheyenne, Wyoming and sell at their farmers market and be considered local. And that's the USDA definition. So that's wild to me. So it's not what we were going for. We typically, backdrop of our work is kind of creating a lot of citizen or community awareness of the food production that goes on in their area. We have a site called My Food Shed, which we've then named our food hub off of, where you can actually go into the Canadian River and see all the producers in the area and connect with them, kind of localize your food economy more. And so we started shifting out of that instead of just trying to hold some community awareness of producers into like taking on the supply chain logistics for our producers. A little bit about a values-based supply chain. It's not on profit as much, which doesn't work for our rural community economics. So we kind of dove into getting a food hub off the ground. Oh, sorry. And this is the woman whose land I grew up for. Just a little personal note there. So we focused on a 150-mile radius, and we realized we needed an aggregation and pack facility. And the area that would work best for that would be Raton. And so that's where we actually have our first aggregation point right now. And it's going to be the kind of center of our food hub that services rural communities. So my work in northeastern New Mexico has been going to Wagon Mountain and Springer and Cimarron and Roy and Mosquero and meeting with these food service directors so we can, I've been actually bringing them like product out of Raton that's cleaned and real beautiful and organic and and showing them what produce and what food could look like from their region that could then service the kiddos in their schools. So we had some goals with this year. It's it's just been kind of like a getting off the ground year. We wanted to forward contract mixed produce growers, which we have done. We've offered $4,000 contracts to growers where we paid them back in April before the seeds ever went in the ground. And we did that crop production planning with them with different institutional markets. So we could look at the not only the crop production numbers, but what's the volume and velocity that these schools would need to be able to be serviced. And we do that math and logistics. And then instead of a producer like going the whole growing season with this product and then selling to a school and then waiting on a reimbursement, we were like, let's pay them up front and get that moved for them. And then just kind of recoup the cost down the road as the nonprofit. That way we can circulate those local food dollars. We ended up just getting a forward contract out of the Mora Valley, and we work on a one-on-one basis with Romel Family Farms as well. Had a couple other producers that we wanted to be able to forward contract in northeastern New Mexico too, but they had some wild weather events, as you know, like falling greenhouse in the wind, or it was just kind of a wild year for weather. So we didn't quite hit that, but that's okay. We sell to a retail market in the Trinidad Co-op. So we were able to work with them to kind of move some product in northeastern New Mexico. And we've been in talks with the Los de Mora Co-op in the Mora Valley. And those have been kind of the more retail market locations we focused on. the heirloom shop too. We've provided products for Mo Family Farms to kind of diversify their produce base as well. Adding to New Mexico rural schools has not acclimatized yet. We've been in talks with a lot of food service directors like Michael Sandoval of Raton and a lot of other FSAs, but we haven't gotten any consistent ordering down with them. But hopefully those relationships will just be built over time and with trust. And yeah, I won't go into some of these other dynamics in the bottom left-hand corner. This is a producer in the Mora Valley that we forward contracted about $4,000 worth of greens and green beans, and why we thought that was important to do. There's a couple of growers we work with, a couple of Trinidad Co-op and another rural grocery store. That's actually like a self-serve kiosk of the community of 233 up in southeastern Colorado. That they get some produce from northeastern New Mexico. It's a picture of our space that we rent in the old recycling facility in Raton, in a bay right here, and how our aggregation space is kind of coming together. We built out a refrigerated trailer that we move product in the region out of. So on Sundays, I drop that refrigerated trailer off in the Mora Valley, and they can pace themselves as they harvest and pull it into the trailer, and then I pick it up in a few days and come up to Raton, and we wash and pack and send produce out from there. This is a kind of a semi-cargo trailer. It's a 20-foot trailer that we as a team, I have six colleagues with my nonprofit, and we had a big work day in Raton this last month, and we built out a 20-foot refrigerator essentially to store a lot more bulk product. And one of the things we do for our producers as well is we disseminate vented agricultural totes and packaging to kind of help in some of that cost as well, for moving product. When you take in a couple dollar wax line cardboard box for a veggie grower and they have to rebuy that box every time, that cost can really eat into their food production value. Picture of us dropping off the trailer to farm in the Mora. Some things that we're working on is we just recently applied for NM Grown certification as a food hub, so we can kind of blanket our producers and kind of hold that for them. We're still trying to solidify some more school and institutional partners, and we really hope to get to that 7 anchor producer number for the next season. And then showing up for our rangeland folks, if we could figure out that protein piece, that would also be pretty huge. It's just a little bit more infrastructure build out than we have the funds for right now. So, but it was mainly just a thank you for allowing us to, thanks for your hospitality and being a host side of creating a rural equity focused food hub for our Plains communities. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Diamond. Commissioners,
Mhm.
Commissioner Kern,
No questions at this time.
Commissioner Ware.
I don't have any questions.
Mr. Diamond, I just had a few. So what you're essentially doing is the community supported agriculture, correct? And then what schools or institutions have you reached out here locally? Have you reached out to Raton Public Schools or?
I've done several in-person site visits to Raton to meet Michael Sandoval. I've dropped off food there. I've done the email correspondence. Elizabeth Hempel, who also works with NM Grown and has a gym downtown on Main Street. She's provided me with his number too. So I've tried some cold calling as well. I haven't been able to connect with him. Cimarron Public Schools, Roy, Mosquero, Wagon Mountain, Springer, Maxwell, Mora. Those have been the focal point. Mhm.
Okay. Well, great. No, I'd like to have you follow up later on that. I just kind of like to hear how they turn out. I support your efforts and what you're doing. I've gone to your co-op in Trinidad and also the stuff that they have here, the Ramel Family Farms. And so I've seen that stuff. I purchased your goods. I know it's actually pretty nice because it does support my district here in my area. I've seen High Country Meats is one of the products that's produced. They provide jobs here in Colfax County, and it's great that they're shipping their product out. So thank you very much. Yeah.
Actually did a bus tour back in February. It called it the Trinidad Raton bus tour, and we went to different parts of the food system, and we toured the High Country Meats, and Dustin was just phenomenal. And that family is wildly generous. They're really sweet. And Kayvon Kalabari has been so supportive and helpful with us as well. And we couldn't have done some of these movements without his help too. So yeah, it's been such a warm reception, and we really appreciate it.
Of course. Well, thank you very much. And if we could ever help, please don't hesitate to reach out.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move on to item number 11 is the closed session pursuant to NMSU 1978, section 10-15.
NMSA,
Oh, what did I say?
NMSU.
Oh, yeah, we're not in
Thank you.
university. NMSA 1978, section 10-15-1H7, pending litigation, Matt Billingsley, Carlos N. Martinez. I'll entertain a motion.
Second.
It's been moved and second, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Kern?
Yes.
Commissioner Ware?
Yes.
Yes.
9:26.